basketball. Both teams like to run and like to use the fast break as one of their main weapons on offense. It's a packed house here at Chartiers Valley, and no doubt about it, the crowd will be in favor of the Canes, overwhelmingly in favor of Newcastle. As a matter of fact, the Canes fans were sitting in the Penn Hills seats. They had to move out of those seats and move up to a higher section, and the Penn Hills fans just got here some 10-15 minutes ago. The Canes fans have been waiting up to 2 hours for this basketball game to get underway. As I mentioned, similar styles between the two clubs. Both teams like to run, both teams like to use the fast break. Let's take a look at Penn Hills. They are coached by Bill Blick. He is in his second season in the WPIAL playoffs. They beat Aliquippa 54-53, and they bowed out to a team by the name of Blackhawk. I think you're familiar with them in overtime, 59-54. In the preliminary rounds to get to the state playoffs, they knocked off Baldwin 78-72. Highly touted Baldwin at one time. Baldwin was the #1 rated team in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette AAA ratings. They also beat Bethel Park 74-67. So a common foe for both clubs was Bethel Park. The Canes beat Bethel Park 71-69. Penn Hills beat Bethel Park 74-67. So it should be a great game. Don Ross, the head basketball coach of the Red Hurricanes, told me coming down he's waited 22 years for this, and their winner will make a trip to Hershey on Saturday. This is the finals, Western representation at stake for the AAA boys playoffs. This is the last one before they go to Hershey in a packed house here at Chartiers Valley. We expect a tremendous basketball game. We'll take a look at some of the key personnel, but first we have this announcement from Cable Entertainment.
Good evening, Cable Entertainment of Newcastle Cable TV subscribers. This is a replay of last night's boys state class AAA semifinal playoff basketball game between the Newcastle Red Hurricanes and the Penn Hill Indians from Chartiers Valley High School. This replay of this game is a public service from Cable Entertainment of Newcastle for its cable TV subscribers. The filming of this basketball game is being handled by the non-professional personnel affiliated with Newcastle High School, and the play-by-play is being handled by Bob Hannon, former WKST sports director. We hope you enjoy the replay of the ball game tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And handling our filming tonight once again will be Jeff Bucker and Ralph DiMuccio, and my statistician tonight, Paul Ross. In the PIAA playoffs for Penn Hills, they knocked off City League champ Brashear 74-62. Then they beat the runner-up in the WPIAL 80-59, that being Latrobe. The Canes also played Latrobe in the WPIAL finals and beat them 73-49. The final score might be a little misleading. The Canes were down 1 going into the fourth quarter and outscored Latrobe in the fourth quarter by 25 for the Canes to win that contest 73-49. And also Penn Hills knocked off Erie McDowell 68-58, the District 10 winner. For the Hurricanes of Newcastle, what more can you say about this club? Some people feel they are destined. They beat Blackhawk on Tuesday night 50-49. Barry Wetzel's 2 free throws won it. But if you take a look back at all the games for the Canes, they have gone right down to the wire, and Newcastle has been able to pull them out. Hopefully they can do it once again tonight and make a trip to Chocolatetown, USA on Saturday. For the Penn Hills Club, the key personnel for them, Dow Missenhelder. He's a senior. He's a 5'8" senior. He's the playmaker, so it should be a good matchup. The 2 point guards, Barry Wetzel and Dow Missenhelder, and he averages close to 14 points a game, and he was the key factor in the game against Erie McDowell. He controlled the offense. They got off to a big lead against Erie McDowell, the Indians did, and from that point on, he ran the show and kept things under control, and the closest Erie McDowell got was 3 points. For Newcastle, Barry Wetzel. He's averaging 11.4 points per game in the playoffs, 44 assists in the playoffs, and only 10 turnovers, so he has done a fine job running the offense. But for the Canes, it's somebody different every night. Bonjavingo against Bethel Park. It was Natel against Norwin. Jimmy Brown and Russell Bruce give you a solid game every night, so we expect a great matchup tonight. Don Ross says he hopes Penn Hills tries to run with the Canes. He doesn't feel any club in the WPAL can get the ball out and run with Newcastle. Penn Hills, I'm sure they feel they can run the break and get the basketball out. Don Ross has told me if he does get a lead, once again, he'll use the spread offense and try to get the big people of Penn Hills in foul trouble. Also for Penn Hills, a familiar name to a lot of people that follow NBA basketball and are familiar with Pitt basketball in the mid-70s, Mark Knight. He averages 11.7 points per game, and in the playoffs, he's been averaging 18 points a game. He is the brother of former All-American at Pitt, Billy Knight. As you can hear the crowd behind us, they are in full force, and most of them are screaming, "We are NC." So it will be a Newcastle crowd here this evening. We are just seconds away from the opening tip, and we will take a complete look at the starting lineups once we do get underway. The Canes tonight will be wearing their white uniforms trimmed in red. The Indians of Penn Hills will be wearing their maroon uniforms trimmed in yellow. So Don Ross will be talking with the Red Hurricanes of Newcastle. Bill Blick will talk to his Indians of Penn Hills. I had a chance to see Penn Hills play Latrobe, and they were very impressive. And as you can tell, this game just about ready to get underway. It's the Hurricanes of Newcastle and the Indians of Penn Hills for a right to go to the state finals Saturday in Hershey. So we will get on to the court for the player introductions. Once again, the key matchup tonight are the 2-point guards. Barry Wetzel for the Canes and Dow Missenhelder for the Indians of Penn Hills. Just about ready for our player introductions this evening. And once again, this being brought to you as a public service by Cable Entertainment. I'd like to thank everybody at Cable Entertainment, in particular Stan Presner, who's the chief technician. He has done the job for us with all of the video switching for the replay of the basketball game. So thank you, Stan Presnar Jr., for making this possible. Penn Hills being introduced first, and coming out is Chris Seneca. He's in the backcourt. He averages 10 points a game. He's a guard, and he's a 5'10" junior. Also in the backcourt, Dow Missenhelder. He's a 5'8" senior. He averages 14 points a game. And this one forward is Greg Ferracco, a 6'4" junior. And of course, we mentioned number 33 tonight, Mark Knight, 11.7 points a game in the regular season, 18 in the playoffs. He's a 6'1" senior. And also starting will be Todd Lee. He's a 6' junior. He averages 9 points a game. And Bill Blick, the head basketball coach. Also seeing a lot of action tonight for Penn Hills will be Aaron Tipton. Now the Hurricanes of Newcastle. And they are standing behind us. And they are your Hurricanes of Newcastle. And you can't even hear the PA announcer, public address announcer, introduce the Canes because this crowd is so noisy. We are going to have to wait till this crowd quiets down to introduce the Canes. A reminder, we are filming under adverse conditions here this evening. Barry Wetzel for the Canes, 5'8" point guard in the playoffs, averaging 11.4 points per game. Also Bobby Natal, one forward, 6' senior, 9.3 points per game. In the backcourt were Wetzel, Frank Bonjavingo. He's a 6' senior, and he averages in the playoffs 9.3 points per game. Jimmy Brown, the center, averaging in the playoffs 14.4 points per game. He's a senior at 6'2", and Russell Bruce, also at 6'2", he's a senior. He is also averaging 14.4 points per game. So the preliminaries are over. We're ready to go. It's the Canes against the Indians for the right to go to the state championship on Saturday. Once again, we are filming under adverse conditions here at Chartiers Valley High School this evening. Now our national anthem. Hills Indians last-minute instructions. Don Ross talking to his Red Hurricanes. The Indians take the court. Once again, their starting lineup, Missenhelder and Seneca in the backcourt. The center, Todd Lee, and also on the front line, Mark Knight along with Greg Faracco. It appears Faracco will jump center. And the Canes take the court. Jimmy Brown will jump center for the Red Hurricanes of Newcastle. The Canes will move left to right. Faracco steps in at 6'4". Jimmy Brown steps in at 6'2". This place will be very noisy this evening. We're just about ready to go. And we are underway. Tip is controlled by Newcastle, but we're going to jump it again. Ball's in the air again, and we're going to do it one more time until we get it right. No, they say Newcastle gets the basketball, and Faracco hit it on the way up. So Penn Hills will open in a 2-1-2 defense. Barry Wetzel for the Canes. Bobby Natal back to Barry. Inside, Jimmy Brown low off the baseline. Russell Bruce fires from 12. Good. Canes lead 2-0. Newcastle comes out. It appears they're going to go in a man-to-man defense. Seneca out front tonight. Knight off to Missenhelder against the Canes as they drop back to a 2-3 matchup. Back to Seneca, penetrates to Missenhelder. He gets it inside to Seneca. Ball rolling around inside. Faracco put it up and in. The Canes run it across the timeline. Barry Wetzel sets up the offense to Bonjavingo. Off the right wing. Back to Natal. To Barry from 15. Front rim, no good. Rebound Brown. Put it up and in. Jimmy Brown on the offensive glass to give Newcastle a 4-2 lead. They are behind us. They are around us. They're in front of us. Canes fans are everywhere. The Indians against the 2-3 matchup. Missenhelder tonight. Back to Missenhelder. Left wing Seneca. Seneca, an excellent outside shooter. Tonight, back to Missenhelder. To Seneca, fakes the jumper, now penetrates, gets it inside, shot up off the back rim and falls in. And that's Faracco's 4th point. So the Canes bring it up and we're deadlocked at 4 apiece. Bonjavingo let it fly from 15, bullseye! Canes lead 6-4. Seneca walks it up, gives it up to Knight, back to Seneca, double teamed in the corner. Looks low for Knight, can't find him. To Missenhelder, and we have a foul called on Wetzel reaching in. Canes lead at 6-4, 6:05 to go, quarter number 1. Hope you're enjoying it here on Cable Entertainment. Missenhelder to pull the trigger. Gets it into Seneca. The alley-oop it inside, ball tipped away. Bruce comes up with the steal, and reaching in and fouling Bruce will be Todd Lee, 6'4" junior. So the Canes get the basketball back, leading by 2. Faracco has all 4 points for the Indians, and for the Canes, Brown, Bonjavingo, and Bruce each have a deuce. Canes lead 6-4. Wetzel brings it up. To Bonjavingo, back to Wetzel. Bob Natal, cross court to Barry. To Bonjavingo from 17. Good! Frank Bonjavingo gives the Canes an 8-4 lead. Canes now switch up and they go to a 3-2 defense. Mark Knight, back to Seneca, top of the key jumper, no good. Tip up, no good. Tip again, no good. Bobby Natal rips the basketball away from the rim, and he was fouled inside, and the foul goes inside against Todd Lee. That is his second team foul against the Indians. Canes lead it by 4, 5:31 to go in the quarter. And Aaron Tipton will check into the ball game, and he'll check in for Todd Lee as he takes a break with 2 personal fouls. Barry Wetzel for Newcastle. Alley-oop for Bruce, and the ball went off the rim. Missenhouter comes down with the loose carom, runs it up and lets it fly. Good. 8-6 Newcastle. Wetzel to Bonjavingo. Back to Wetzel. Bobby Nattell. Back to Frank. To Barry. Gets it back to Frank. He'll let it fly from 18. No good. Rebound taken down inside by Farocco, and he is called for pushing off. Checking, not Farocco. Aaron Tipton called for pushing off. And that is team foul number 3 against the Indians. So the Canes will inbound under their own goal. Inbounded to Jimmy Brown from 13. Side rim, no good. Rebound Tipton, and he was fouled by Bobby Nattell. That is Bobby Nattell's first, team foul number 2 against Newcastle. Canes led it 8-4. They lead 8-6. 4:57 to go, quarter number 1. And Chris Seneca walks it up for the Indians. Seneca against the 3-2 from the top of the key. Shot is good. Tied at 8. Wetzel for Newcastle. To Bonjavingo. Nattell. Wetzel back to Bonjavingo. Be there! No good. Rebound Tipton again. Tipton gets it out to Seneca. Seneca gets it off to Mark Knight. Puts it up and in. Canes trail 10-8. The Indians have scored 6 straight points. So Penn Hills sits back and they're 2-1-2. Bobby Nattell high above his head to Bonjavingo to Wetzel. Baseline left, puts it up and in. Barry Wetzel goes baseline to deadlock it at 10-10. Newcastle now in their whatchamacallit defense. It's a 1-1-3 in the Canes. Wherever the basketball is thrown, Bonjavingo goes that way. Mark Knight from outside. Good again. So it's 12-10, Penn Hills. Wetzel quickly up for the Canes. He'll let it fly. Be there, Barry, it is! 12-12. As we mentioned, both clubs like to run it up the court and play the up-tempo, and that is what we have seen in the first quarter. Mark Knight back out to Seneca. Ball is stolen by Bobby Nattell. Out to Wetzel, to the line, to the lane, to the hoop. Good! Newcastle leads 14-12. Run and gun basketball. Penn Hills against the Newcastle 2-3. Missenhouter makes his move to the bucket, and he was fouled by Frank Bonjavingo. Up and down basketball. 3:20 to go, quarter number 1. Canes lead by 2. Missenhouter will inbound across from his bench. To Seneca, back to Missenhouter. Won't take the jumper. Seneca fakes the jumper. To Missenhouter, he'll let it go. Side rim, no good. Russell Bruce clears the rebound. Here come the Canes. Wetzel, and he is called for traveling. So the Canes turn it over with 3:03 to go in the quarter. 14-12 Newcastle. Seneca between the circles for Penn Hills. Off the right wing to Missenhouter. Back to Seneca, baseline right. Missenhouter down low to Tipton, has the ball stripped. Put it up and in. Tipton got his own loose basketball and put it up and in. Game tied 14-14. Bonjavingo. Nattell. Back to Frank. Inside Jimmy Brown. Turn around, put it up. No good. Rebound Tipton. And Tipton is fouled in the backcourt by Barry Wetzel. That is foul number 2 against Wetzel. Team foul number 4 against the Canes. Tied at 14 apiece. 2:32 to go, quarter number 1. It's the Canes and the Indians from Chartiers Valley High School. Seneca handling most of the ball playmaking duties tonight. Well, Dow Missenhouter is off the wing, and out front, Seneca called for traveling. In the games that Newcastle has scouted, Dow Missenhouter has been the playmaker. Tonight, they're trying to get him the ball off the wing so he can take the jumper. Newcastle now facing the 3-2. Bonjavingo jumper, no good. Tip Nattell, good. Bobby Nattell got excellent position inside. Newcastle leads by 2. Seneca against the 2-3 zone. Missenhelder off the right wing. Inside tonight has it taken away by Bonjavingo. Brown comes up with the loose ball. Here comes Newcastle. Barry Wetzel spin dribble. Be there, Barry. Good! 18-14. Newcastle leads by 4. Seneca at the top of the key to Missenhelder. Spins it back out front. Tonight. Missenhelder cross-court pass to Seneca. Alley-oop it inside. Ball taken away by the Canes. They get it out to Bonjavingo. Bonjavingo pulls up. To Jimmy Brown. He'll pull up at the foul line. Back rim, no good. Tip, no good. Seneca the rebound. Seneca brings it down, and let's see what the call is. Offensive foul. Barry Wetzel could have picked up his third, but he was in excellent position and picked up the charge. So with 1:21 to go in the quarter, the Canes get the basketball, leading by 4. Barry Wetzel across the timeline. Inside, Russell Bruce. Over to Bonjavingo, and ball is loose, saved by Seneca. Picked up by Tipton, and Tipton gets it off to Missenhelder. Inside tonight, put up the shot, and good, and he was fouled. So an excellent pass from Missenhelder inside tonight. And the Cane lead West 4, now 2. And Knight will go to the free throw line. Knight in with 6 points. Mark Knight, the brother of Billy Knight. Takes a couple dribbles. Sights it, shoots it, hits it. They say the free throw is no good. Free throw no good. Morocco stepped in the lane too soon, so the Canes maintain their 2-point lead. Newcastle with the possession. 1:06 to go in the quarter. Newcastle leads by 2. Alley-oop inside for Brown, and the ball is taken away inside by Missenhelder. Missenhelder down, lets it fly. Shot up, no good. Rebound taken down by Bruce. Bruce for Newcastle to Wetzel. Wetzel pulls up. Front rim, no good. Rebound taken down by Ferracco. Both clubs running the basketball. 3-on-2 break. Ferracco behind the back pass, and he is called for charging. And that is Ferracco's first personal foul. So the Canes doing a good job on defense, getting in position to pick up the offensive fouls. That is team foul number 5, and the Canes will shoot a 1-and-1. Newcastle leads at 18-16, 44 seconds to go in the first quarter. Jimmy Brown will go to the free throw line and shoot 1-and-1. Barry Wetzel has played well here in the first quarter, tossing in 8 points for the Canes. JB goes to the free throw line. Takes a couple dribbles. Bends the knee, shot up, and no good. Rebound pulled down by Ferracco, and he throws it out of bounds. So the Canes get it back. And Ferracco will check out of the lineup for Penn Hills. And checking in will be number 13, and we don't even have a number 13 on our program. It possibly could be Gary White. Canes will spread out the court and go for the last shot with 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Barry Wetzel off the left wing, back to Frank. Holds it high above his head. Frank will penetrate. He's double teamed, has the ball taken away by Seneca. To Missenhelder, his shot is up and no good, missed the layup. Rebound by White, he put it up and in. So we're tied at 18, 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Wetzel for Newcastle. Wetzel off the left wing, lets it fly, no good. Tip no good, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. Shot almost good by Missenhelder from half court. So we're right back where we started. 1 quarter is history, and we're deadlocked at 18 apiece. The Canes did lead at 18-14. We're tied at 18. We do believe number 13 is Gary White. We did not have a number 13 on our program. This should be a game that goes right to the wire. Two well-coached basketball teams that have played well the last month of the season. The Canes, the WPIAL champs, and Penn Hills battling their way through the WPIAL and also the PIAA. Let's check some first quarter scoring. Knight in with 6 for Penn Hills to lead them, and Barry Wetzel with 8 for Newcastle. So the Canes will take the court. Newcastle's not substituted as of yet. Only foul trouble would be Todd Lee, the 6-foot junior for Penn Hills. He has 2, and Barry Wetzel, the 5'8" senior for Newcastle, he also has 2 fouls. So Chartiers Valley High School the scene for tonight's Western Final. The winner goes to Hershey for the state final. Jimmy Brown to jump against Faracco, who is checked back in. The Canes, as I said, have not yet substituted. Usually their 6th man all season has been Paul Schweiker. So it'll be Faracco against Brown. Tip control by Newcastle. Bonjabingo sees Natel open, put it up, good. So the Canes did a good job. Off the tip, Bonjabingo saw Bobby Natel breaking for the layup and found him for 2. Canes lead by 2. Missenhelder to Tipton. To Missenhelder, won't take the jumper. Back to Knight. Knight between the circles. To Seneca, alley-oop inside for Tipton, has the ball knocked away. Missenhelder comes up with the loose carry. Between the circles, Seneca setting up the offense. Fakes the jumper, now penetrates, gets it off to Tipton. Tipton almost lost it out of bounds, but saved it. Inside to Knight, has it taken away by Jimmy Brown. Brown out to Wetzel. Bobby Natal, Bonjabingo, back to Bobby. Baseline left, goes inside. No shot, and we have traveling called against Natal. Good backside help defensively by Penn Hills. Faracco checks out of the contest. Checking back in is Todd Lee with 2 personal fouls. High post to Lee. Can't get the shot off. Almost stolen by the Canes. Knight lets it fly, no good. Rebound Natal. Out to Wetzel. Wetzel will pull up. Be there, it is! Barry Wetzel, you are one heck of a player, my friend. 22-18, Newcastle. 6:40 to go. Barry already with 10. Seneca, his jumper airborne, no good. Natal pulls the ball away from the rim. Canes on a 3-on-2. Russell Bruce put it up. Glass good. Newcastle leads it by 6. They are running the fast break to perfection. Penn Hills could not run with Newcastle. Canes in a 2-3 defense. Tipton in the corner. Back out to Seneca. To Missenhelder. To Seneca. He puts up the jumper. Throws up an air ball. Bobby Natal gets the rebound. So the Canes have a chance to up their lead to 8. Their biggest lead has been 6. Penn Hills says, let's talk about it. They take a timeout. 6:06 to go in quarter number 2. Newcastle leads it 24-18. So Newcastle has got the ball out very well, and they have run the fast break to perfection. And Barry Wetzel has had a tremendous first 10 minutes of basketball here tonight. Let's listen to the crowd. We are NC. Definitely something to be proud of. We are NC. Canes lead it by 6. Bobby Natal will step to the free throw line and shoot a 1-and-1. Bob Natal at one time this season hit 26 straight free throws. Bobby Natal to shoot a 1-and-1. Natal gets the basketball from referee Gene Susi. Natal takes a couple dribbles. Bends the knees. Free throw up. Good. Canes lead by 7. Bobby Natal will get one more. Tried up the Cane lead to 8. Second one. Bullseye. Canes lead by 8. Newcastle has their biggest lead. Newcastle in the 2-3 zone. Missenhelder. Out front tonight to Missenhelder. To Seneca. Cross-court pass to Tipton. Baseline left, Knight, his 13-footer, no good. Brown tears the leather away from the rim. Bruce out to Bonjabingo, back to Natal, good! Fast break basketball. Newcastle up by 10, and they call a foul, bucket good. Showtime at Chartiers Valley. Newcastle leads it by 10. Bobby Natal can make it 11. This place is going crazy. Newcastle leads it by 10. Absolute bedlam. Bobby Natal with one free throw. Puts it up. Perfect. Newcastle by 11. Missenhelder for Penn Hills. Gets it inside, and they call a foul on Bobby Natal reaching in. Almost came up with the steal, but they call Bobby Natal for reaching in. Let me tell you something, folks. There's nobody in the state that can run the fast break with Newcastle. And Penn Hills is trying to do it this evening, and they are on the verge of getting blown out. That is Bobby Natal's second foul. So Bonjabingo, Natal, and Wetzel each have 2 fouls. Mark Knight will step to the free throw line with a 1-and-1. Sights it, shoots it, no good. Rebound taken down inside by Penn Hills as Jimmy Brown and Russell Bruce knocked it away from each other. Shot put up and in by White. Barry to the forecourt to Bonjabingo. Bonjabingo penetrates, gets it inside to Brown. Shot up and good. Took a couple trips around the world, but it finally fell in. Newcastle by 11. Missenhelder to Seneca. Penn Hills appears to be rattled. Missenhelder from long range, and he knocked it home. He's a great shooter, probably the best shooter on the Penn Hills club. Newcastle's lead cut to 9. Barry against a 1-3-1 defense. To Bonjabingo. Back to Barry. Bobby Natal to Bonjabingo. Inside low to Bruce. Layup no good. Offensive rebound. Put it up. No good, but he was fouled by Knight. So the Canes hitting the offensive boards and getting the second and third opportunities. Newcastle leads by 9 with 4:36 to go in quarter number 2. At stake, a trip to Hershey. Listen to these Newcastle fans. A lot of them weren't able to come here this evening. They were turned away. Russell Bruce will shoot a 1-and-1. Excuse me, 2-shot foul. First one up, bang. Canes lead by 10. Russell Bruce to get one more. The 6'2" senior. The left-hander takes a couple dribbles. Good again. Newcastle by 11. They match their biggest lead. Missenhelder over tonight. Penetrates, fires from 10, and hits it. 33-24. Barry Wetzel. To Bonjabingo. Cross-court pass to Natal. Alley-oop it inside, and we have a foul inside. Foul will go, I believe, against Russell Bruce, pushing off. And he pushed off on Gary White. White will step to the charity stripe and shoot a 1-and-1. Newcastle leads by 9, 4:14 to go in the quarter. Byron Knight is also checked into the lineup for Penn Hills. So Mark Knight and Byron Knight. Byron Knight is 6-foot sophomore. Gary White with the 1-and-1. First win, good. Newcastle's lead has been cut to 8 with 4:14 to go in quarter number 2. also good. 33-26. Newcastle up by 7. Bonzavingo, cross-court pass, and Wetzel was fouled by Knight. Check it, make it Tipton. Wetzel fouled by Tipton. Berry will shoot a 1-and-1. Wetzel in this evening with 10 points for Newcastle. The 5'8" senior point guard. First team all section. Also a Dapper Dan round ball selection. Free throw, good. The Canes have only missed one free throw tonight, and that being Jimmy Brown. Wetzel the leading scorer for the Canes. Second one, perfect. Newcastle up by 9. Missenhelder for the Indians. 2-3 defense for Newcastle. Ball tipped by Wetzel. Bonjavingo came up with the loose ball, but Missenhelder gets it back. Won't take the jumper. Off the mark, Knight. Inside to White, puts it up and in, and White has done a fine job coming off the bench. That is his 6th point. Canes lead by 7. Barry Wetzel off the left wing from 20. Good! Barry Wetzel is putting on a clinic. Newcastle by 9. Missenhelder in, put up the shot, and good. Missenhelder inside the foul line, hit the jumper from about 12. Barry for the Canes. To Bonjavingo. Bobby Natel back to Frank. Inside to Bruce, gets it off to Natel, drives inside and put it up and in. Excellent team basketball by Newcastle to get the layup. Newcastle by 9, 39-30, 3:03 to go in the quarter. Knight out front to Missenhelder, his long-range jumper right there. 39-32, 2:52 to go. Both teams shooting high percentage. Bonjavingo from 20, back rim, no good. Rebound, Brown, he'll put it out, no good. Rebound cleared inside by Tipton. Tipton to Missenhelder, Missenhelder at the key. Off to Byron Knight. Out front to Missenhelder, and they're going to have an over and back violation. So the Canes get it on the turnover, leading by 7. Greg Faracco will check back in, and he will check in for Tipton as he takes a break. Newcastle by 7, 2:22 to go in the quarter. Penn Hills in a 2-1-2 zone. Bobby Natel, cross court to Barry. Inside to Natel, he penetrates, put up the shot. No good, but we do have a call inside. It will go against the Canes as Bobby Natel charged into Gary White. That is Bobby Natel's 3rd personal foul, and the 6-foot junior Paul Schweikert will check in for Bobby. And Bobby takes a break, and Bobby Natel in with 11 points. Two Knights into the contest for Penn Hills. Byron with the basketball. Had a knock loose, but Missenhelder comes up with it. Inside to Mark Knight, his jumper up, good. Canes lead cut to 5, 39-34. 2 minutes to go till halftime. Newcastle, it appears, will spread out the offense. And we'll let you take a look at it as Penn Hills comes out of the 2-3. Paul Schweikert, who was just checked in, back to Wetzel. Wetzel penetrates, takes it the distance, put it up and in! Barry Wetzel, oh, what a move. Canes lead it by 7. 13 points for Wetzel. White back to Missenhelder. Tonight, he fires it from 10. Shot rolls around, no good. Rebound by Byron Knight, and he is called for traveling. Making a double dribble. Gene Susi made the call. Newcastle by 7 with 1:23 to go till intermission. Inbounded to Wetzel. Newcastle will look for the good shot. The Canes needed a big game out of Wetzel tonight. Newcastle will take a timeout. Don Ross wants to talk about it, and the Newcastle faithful are on their feet. 1:13 to go till halftime. Newcastle leads it by 7. They have led by as many as 11. They have played a near flawless first half, led by Barry Wetzel with 13, Bobby Natel with 11. Let's listen to the crowd as Bubba Pia and Tom DiMuccio get this crowd rocking. At halftime, we hope to be talking with Connie Palumbo, ex-basketball coach in Newcastle. He was the head basketball coach before Don Ross, or Bill McNeese, a former player for Don Ross and the head basketball coach at Shenango. Once again, this broadcast being brought to you by Cable Entertainment. We'd like to thank Stan Kresner Jr., who's making this possible, along with Ralph Peluso down at Cable Entertainment. And if the Canes do go to Hershey, we will be bringing you a broadcast, and that will be around noon on Sunday, our broadcast will be. So Bonjavingo to inbound in front of the Cane bench. Inbounds to Jimmy Brown. Penn Hills comes out of there, 2-3 defense and goes man-to-man. Knight picks up Wetzel, gets it off the Schweiker, shot up and in and foul. Great pass from Wetzel to Paul Schweiker, and he was fouled. Everybody contributes on this club. This is definitely a team effort. Barry Wetzel is putting on a show. Newcastle by 9. Schweiker can make it 10. The 6-foot junior's free throw is good. Newcastle by 10 with 1 minute to go. 60 seconds till half. Missenhelder off the Knight. Back out to Missenhelder. Mark Knight turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound by Wetzel. Newcastle will go for one shot, leading by 10. This team could be destined. And the officials stop play. Let's see what the call is. Apparently Missenhelder having trouble with the contact lens. 34 seconds to go until halftime. Newcastle leads it by 10. That appears to be the problem. Missenhelder having some trouble with the contact lens. We will have all the scoring and the foul situation for you at halftime. Barry Wetzel has penetrated very well here this evening, has got the ball off to Schweiker, to Natel, to Bruce, to Brown when he hasn't been picked up, when he has been picked up, when he hasn't been picked up, he's taken it to the hole, and he has done very well, beating Missenhelder to the bucket. Newcastle by 10 with 34 seconds to go till halftime. Who would have believed this back in November? Newcastle, with their tallest player being 6'2", playing for the right to go to the state championship. They are already the WPIAL champion. Newcastle by 10, 34 seconds to go. Penn Hills picking up in a man-to-man. Bonjavingo to pull the trigger in the backcourt to Brown. Brown picked up by Missenhelder. Back to Wetzel. 30 seconds to go until half. Wetzel between the circles, setting up the offense. He is picked up by Byron Knight. Jimmy Brown with 15 seconds gives it up to Wetzel. Wetzel off the left wing. Canes will get into their offense with about 10 seconds. Bonjavingo inside to Bruce, put it up, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds, last touch by Penn Hills. So Newcastle will get another crack. 5 seconds to go until halftime. Bonjavingo to Wetzel from 20, no good. Rebound taken down inside by Penn Hills. Out the Knight, his shot is up and no good. And half the scoring has been told from Chartiers Valley High School. Newcastle leads it by 10, 44 to 34. We will give you our halftime scoring shortly and check the foul situation for you. Newcastle has played a near flawless first half against a very good Penn Hills basketball team. Newcastle leads by 10. We'll have the scoring for you. We do have the scoring for you now for Penn Hills. Missenhelder in with 8. Now Missenhelder with 8 for Penn Hills. Also, Mark Knight is checked in with 8. Lee has not scored. Todd Lee, the 6'4" junior, has not scored. Seneca in with 2. Baracco has 4. Aaron Tipton with 2. Byron Knight in with 2. And coming off the bench, Gary White has tossed in 8 points. That's the scoring for Penn Hills. The foul situation, Mark Knight has 1. Lee has 3 personal fouls. Seneca with 1. Baracco with 1. And also Tipton with 2 personal fouls. The scoring for Newcastle, let's take a look at it. Jimmy Brown with 2. Bonjavingo has 4. Russell Bruce in with 8. Bobby Natal was tossed in 11. Barry Wetzel in with 16 first half points to lead the Canes, and also Paul Schweikert off the bench with a 3-point play. And that is the scoring for Newcastle. The foul situation, Bob Natal does have 3 personal fouls. Frank Bonjavingo with 2. Also Barry Wetzel with 2, and Russell Bruce with 1. Our score at halftime, Newcastle leads by 10. Leading scorer for the Canes has been Barry Wetzel with 16. Also Missenhelder is tossed in 8 to lead Penn Hills. And joining me here at halftime, a gentleman that knows something about Newcastle basketball, that being Connie Palumbo, at one time the head coach. And Connie, what are your impressions of the first half here this evening?
Well, I'll tell you, Bobby, probably one of the finest first halves that I've ever seen in high school basketball. I don't remember any time except perhaps the last minute of the first quarter when Newcastle had a little lapse. But offensively, fantastic. Moving the ball, hitting well, and rebounding well.
Connie, Don Ross was your assistant. When he was with you, I'm sure he was, at that time, I believe he came from Union High School as an assistant under Mike Cavelli. What improvements have you seen as Don Ross as a coach since you were the head coach and he was your assistant?
Well, I'll tell you, Bobby, Donnie has always been one of the most knowledgeable basketball minds in the state of Pennsylvania. Even when he was my assistant, he was a fantastic asset. I think the thing that Donnie has done, of course, is he has matured with the game of basketball. But he was always fantastic, working with kids, and especially working with the guards. Donnie always puts a set of guards out that are fantastic.
What changes have you seen in high school basketball since you were head coach?
Really not too much of a change. Perhaps the game has slowed down a little bit. You know, you might say, well, it's going to speed up. But with the advent of the four-corner offense, which many of the teams are using now, especially into the second and fourth quarter, I think the game of basketball has become a little bit more possession. Although today, by looking at the score, you wouldn't realize that it's possession when Newcastle is really running a fast break.
All right, the Canes lead it by 10 at the half, 44-34. What do you see the Canes have to do in the second half to maintain the lead and win this basketball game?
Okay, the primary thing, Bobby, and I think you'll realize this, they've got to stay out of foul trouble. Newcastle does not go real deep in the bench. One of the keys of this team has been Barry Wetzel. I've seen Newcastle play 7 or 8 times this year. It seems when they lose Barry, they lose a large portion of their offense. It's important that Donnie keeps them in the game. And it's important that the rest of the team stays out of foul trouble as much as possible. And also, Newcastle has to keep dominating them on the boards.
A question, Connie, I wanted to ask you for a long time. You coached Newcastle basketball in the late 60s. You saw the great Ambridge team with Kaufman, Wysick, and DiVenzio. How would you rate Barry Wetzel as a point guard with DiVenzio from the great Ambridge club?
Perhaps not as fine an outside shooter as DiVenzio, but as a pure ball handler, I have not seen a better point guard than Barry Wetzel. I had some great point guards in the years that I coached in Newcastle, but this kid is magnificent. I've never seen a kid control a ball at full speed like Barry Wetzel does.
Do you feel, being at 5'80", has any chance at all to play major college basketball?
I think that he does. You know, I still watch a lot of basketball on the TV and still watch a lot of college basketball, and I look around and I see teams with guys that are 5'8", 5'9". I think Barry Wetzel can play major college basketball.
Connie, do you miss being among the coaching ranks? I know there's a lot of headaches, but there's also a lot of rewards, something Donnie Ross has found out this year.
Well, I really don't miss the game that much, Bobby. I still enjoy watching the game. I gave it 15 years. I was a head coach at the age of 22, retired at the age of 37 when most guys get a head coaching job. Just let me say about Donnie Ross. Fantastic job. Definitely the best coaching job in the state of Pennsylvania this year.
All right, Connie, I'm going to put you on the spot. You coached Newcastle basketball, as you said, for 13 years. Who was the finest player you ever coached?
Bobby, I wouldn't really say that. I had some great ball players. You know, it brings to mind Bobby Doster and Mike Dressling and Steve Sherback and Danny Young. Fantastic ball players, but it would be hard for me to pinpoint. Each one was different. Each one was great in his own right.
Taking the viewpoint of a politician. Okay, so you feel in the second half Barry Wetzel must stay out of foul trouble. He runs the show for the Canes. If he does, you feel Newcastle has an excellent chance to win.
I really think they do. And let me tell you something, Bobby. As I look around at this crowd here, I experienced something like this in 1964 when we won a section championship and went to the semifinals of the WPIAL. But this is fantastic. I have never never in all the years that I've witnessed basketball, never witnessed anything like this. This is truly the sixth man. Don't you think that this crowd doesn't have an effect on the Penn Hills team down there and picking up the Newcastle team? They are truly the sixth man. The Newcastle fans and the county fans supporting this Newcastle team are to be highly commended.
Connie Palumbo, former head basketball coach in Newcastle, I appreciate you taking time and talking with us. Still involved in basketball. As I said, you're the principal at Shenango. You were a heck of a coach and a fine gentleman. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby, and good luck to the Canes in the second half.
Okay, that was Connie Palumbo, who at one time was the head basketball coach of the Hurricanes of Newcastle, and believe me, he knows something about basketball. And as he said, I have to agree with him. In the second half, Newcastle must keep Barry Wetzel out of foul trouble. He has played an excellent first half, tossing in 16 points. He has 2 personal fouls. He has played maybe his finest half of basketball all season. But it's not a one-man show. Brown, Bonjavingo, Bruce, and Natal doing a good job on the boards. Also, Bobby Natal in with checking 11 points, but Bobby Natal with 3 personal fouls. The game is far from over. You can remember last Saturday, Newcastle led Bethel Park by 11, or excuse me, trailed Bethel Park by 11, came back to win the game by 2. I'm sure the Penn Hills getting this far, they haven't given up too many times at halftime. And the Indians are taking the court to warm up for the second half. The Canes, as of yet, are not on the court for the second half. Once again, I'd like to thank Ralph DiMuccio and Jeff Bucker for handling the filming. Paul Ross, our statistician, and Bill Jones down from Cable Entertainment, and hopefully we will be making a trip Saturday to Hershey, Pennsylvania for the state finals. And what a great season it's been for the Hurricanes, and hopefully it's not going to end tonight. And if they do get to the state finals, we will have a broadcast for you sometime Sunday. We're hoping about 12 noon our broadcast time will be. You can hear the crowd starting to cheer as the Canes take the court for the second half. For Penn Hills, their scoring has been split up. A big key coming off the bench. Gary White has tossed in, let's check it. We told you 6 points. He has tossed in 8 points. Missenhelder, who leads the team in scoring at 14 points a game, he has tossed in 8 points. Also, Knight has tossed in 8 points, that being Mark Knight. So Mark Knight and Missenhelder have both tossed in 8 points and have led the scoring for Penn Hills here at Chartiers Valley High School. A lot of people have questioned why this game is being played at Chartiers Valley, not the Civic Arena and not the Pittsburgh Fieldhouse. There has been a soccer game scheduled for a long time, the Pittsburgh Spirit playing at the Civic Arena. And as far as the Pitt Fieldhouse is concerned, they have their intramurals going on tonight, and they would not give the PIAA the facility for this basketball game. And a lot of Newcastle fans were turned away, and they weren't able to come down and watch this game this evening. But I'm sure they are back in Newcastle rooting on the Canes. As I rode down on the team bus, they were lined up on the streets until we reached the highway. So there's the buzzer. We're about ready to go. Half the story has been told. Newcastle leads at 44-34. And 16 more minutes of basketball will tell who will go on to the state championship and represent the western part of Pennsylvania. So Don Ross talks with his Red Hurricanes. Bill Blick talks to the Penn Hills Indians. Hopefully after this contest we will be talking to Don Ross, but if the Canes win, there's a lot of TV crews here from Pittsburgh, and I'm sure they would like to get their hands on Don Ross to talk with him. I tell you, it took the Pittsburgh media long enough to pay some attention to this basketball team. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Penn Hills had this game locked up before it even started. The Canes take the court with their starting 5. The Indians take the court also with their starting 5. It'll be Seneca and Missenhelder in the backcourt for the Indians. At center, it'll be Todd Lee. Also Greg Faracco and Mark Knight at forward. For Newcastle in the backcourt, Bonjavingo and Wetzel. The center will be Brown, and the forwards will be Bobby Natal and Russell Bruce. Canes will move right to left. Faracco will jump against Jimmy Brown. Gene Susi in to toss it up. Tip controlled in the second half, and we do have a whistle. We're going to jump it again. And this time, tip is controlled by Seneca. Gets it off to Lee, back to Faracco. His shot is up, no good. He'll put it up again and in. So Newcastle's lead cut to 44-36. Just underway, third quarter action, 7:45 to go. Canes will look at a box and one as Seneca picks up Barry Wetzel in the box and one. They get it inside to Natel, gets it off to Bruce. His shot is up, and he was fouled as the Canes do a good job penetrating the box and one. Foul goes inside against Farraco. And that is Greg Farraco's second, team foul number 1. So Russell Bruce will go to the free throw line, trying to up the lead to 10 for Newcastle. They lead it by 8. Russell Bruce, the lanky left-hander. First one up, good. Newcastle by 9. That is point number 7 for Russell Bruce. The Canes' biggest lead has been 11. Bruce to get one more. No good. Back rim. Rebound, Bobby Natel. Baseline, right jumper up, no good. Rebound taken down by Seneca. Behind the back dribble to the forecourt. Gets the ball off inside, and Bonjavingo knocked it out of bounds. So 7:27 to go in the third quarter. Newcastle leads it by 9. Missenhelder will inbound. Alley-oop inside. Lob pass stolen by Natel. Bobby Natel off to Wetzel, back to Natel. Shot up and in. Fast break was run there perfectly. Newcastle has their biggest lead once again at 11. Knight lets it fly. No good. Rebound by Bruce. Out to Bonjavingo. Here come the Canes. Bonjavingo from 17. Shot no good. Rebound Bruce. Shot up. Good. Newcastle has their biggest lead at 13. Missenhelder for the Indians, off to Seneca. Back to Missenhelder, penetrates at the foul line, shot up and good. And Missenhelder is everything they told us he was. He's a fine shooter, the 5'8" senior guard. Newcastle by 11, Bonjavingo against the box and 1. Inside to Natel, he gets it off to Jimmy Brown, shot up, good, and a foul. The Canes to this point have played their finest basketball game of the season. Bill Blick, the head coach of Penn Hills, says, what are we going to do? Foul on number 23, Chris Seneca. So the Canes build their lead to 13. 6:37 to go in the quarter. Jimmy Brown to shoot one. No good. Rebound cleared down inside by Todd Lee. Canes lead by 13. Seneca against the 2-3 to Missenhelder. Cross court to Seneca. Back out front to Missenhelder. He penetrates in the lane.